SkyGuardian, you recommend that we read from the Vachanamrut time. Yes, let us do so. Let's take a short interim as we read from another passage from the Vachanamrut. This is a book gifted to us by SkyGuardian, a lovely participant who sends me many books and things for us to read. The BAPS Swaminarayan Sanstha was his childhood organization that he grew up with, so this spiritual lineage means a lot to him. And this book is centered around the spiritual discourses of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, who is revered as an avatar of Narayan by his devotees. Here we are reading Gadhadā 1:36, a true renunciant, based on the example of a pauper. On Posh Vadhi the 13th, Samvat 1876. Does anyone know what a pauper is? P-A-U-P-E-R. Pop quiz. Testing your lexicon. Or the 13th of January in 1820 in our calendar. It's a poor person on the street, says G to infinity. Thank you, I didn't know that. Sriji Maharaj was sitting on a large decorated cot on the platform under the neem tree in front of the mandir of Sri Vasudeva Narayan in Dada Khachar's darbar in Gadhadā. Poor person. He was dressed entirely in white clothes, with garlands of white and yellow flowers adorning his neck. Bunches of white flowers were placed on both of his ears, and a tassel of yellow flowers was dangling from his pug. A choglu made from red kornikar flowers had also been placed in his pug. Also, he was playing with a ball of white flowers with his right hand. So many flowers all around him. To the joy of the devotees, he sat adorned in such a charming fashion. At that time, an assembly of munis, as well as devotees from various places, had gathered before him. Thereupon, Swaminarayan, Sriji Maharaj, said, "How should one view a person who has renounced worldly life and accepted the garb of a renunciant, yet still harbors affection for asat," which literally means untruth or temporary objects. In other words, objects other than the form of God. In Indian heritage, spiritual traditions around there, it's not uncommon for someone to take sannyasa, which means renunciation, where they get rid of all their belongings and they adorn these robes and just wander as a sadhu, as a sannyasi, a wandering monk. So we're talking about one such renunciant who still harbors affection for worldly objects, basically. They should be viewed to be like a pauper, a poor person, before a great merchant. Suppose there is a pauper who has no clothes to wear and feeds themselves by scavenging for scraps of food from piles of garbage. Not only do they consider themselves to be a sinner, but other wealthy people also consider them to be a sinner. They presume he must have committed many sins. That is why he has no food or clothes. We do that too in our society also with homeless people. Similarly, after becoming a renunciant, a person who collects nice clothes and other pleasant objects with a strong craving for them, but does not have affection for dharma, righteous duty, jnana, knowledge, vairagya, dispassion, and bhakti, devotion, is considered by the great ekantik sant, the perfect saint, to be a sinner just like the pauper. Why? Since he is a sinner, or since they are a sinner, they do not have love for dharma, jnana, vairagya, and bhakti. Instead, they have affection for objects other than God. However, for a true renunciant, both dirt and gold are equal. Moreover, a renunciant never makes distinctions by thinking, this object is pleasant and this object is unpleasant. They never have such an understanding. Instead, they have affection only towards God. Only such a person is a true renunciant. And thus we come to the end of Gadhadā 136. Thank you for listening. A good reminder that on the spiritual path, having dispassion for the world is not just something we show off to others, but inwardly we still enjoy these things. There must be a kind of non-duality between comfort and discomfort as we recognize any such experience of our senses to be all the same in our ultimate pursuit of liberation. So we are not so mercilessly trying to avoid pain and pursue pleasure, which takes so much energy away from the bhakti, the devotion, the jnana, the knowledge, and the seva, the service that we can render. And we may return to our regular format. Ren, you share thanks for making texts that include Sanskrit more accessible. Oh, you're very welcome. And the copy of the Vachanāmrut that I'm reading, in case anyone's wondering, it is a kind of pocket edition. It's very small, as you can see. It comes in 3 or 4 volumes. But the full version, which is a larger text, it has a glossary at the end, a kind of selection of terms with translations of the Sanskrit. But given that mine doesn't have that, I have to do that manually. And I'm very happy to relate in my experience of Sanskrit as we read it. Can I hold it back up for a moment? Asks Ren. Yes. Here. In fact, I'll make it nice and big. Here. This is your chance to screenshot it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Click. Take a pic. Let me just put it back for next time.